Minasan, konnichiwa! It seems that finally things are moving for tourism as well. It's still too early to celebrate or say anything clear since there are not details out yet. But today the Japanese Prime Minister Kishida had a speech in London and spoke about the Japan borders. I'm gonna read the full part of his speech related to the borders since it's very important. Prime Minister Kishida said, "We have now eased border control measures significantly, with the next easing taking place in June, when Japan will introduce a smoother entry process similar to that of other G7 members. Connecting with the world. I am convinced this is imperative for the prosperity of Japan too. Japan is and always will be open to the world. Distinguished guests, I earnestly hope that all of you will visit Japan. We will offer our utmost hospitality." I'm laughing here so I don't cry, and I'm sure all of you who has been affected by the Japan travel ban and knows the details of the Japan travel ban is having a laugh, or even worse, hopefully not, but a heart attack, hearing the Prime Minister Kishida talking about connecting with the world and that Japan is always and always will be open to the world. But what can we do when the Prime Minister of a country who has been discriminating and being closed for 2 years says something like that? The way politicians, and especially some politicians, change the reality with their words is now well known to all of us. Our voice is telling the truth, but we don't have the same reach that the Prime Minister has, of course. And especially abroad, many people who have not been affected by the Japan travel ban don't really know what has been happening in the Japanese borders for the past 2 years. But besides that, let's focus on what he said, and I think it's still good that the Japanese Prime Minister said that the next easing will take place in June, when Japan will introduce a smoother entry process similar to that of other G7 members. It is not clear from those words what type of easing will be next. In my video 2 weeks ago, I mentioned about the rumors talking about a June entry, and the words from Prime Minister Kishida seem to confirm that part of the rumors. With the current weak yen and weak economy, I don't see any other way out for Japan than opening the borders, but we know that this government acts very slow and we can't be sure about how much they will open in June. I hope when the Prime Minister says that the entry process will be similar to that of other G7 members, it means finally removing PCR at arrival and quarantine, which is not just costing extra taxpayers money, but also is making it impossible to reopen to tourism, since they are already struggling to handle 10,000 entries per day right now, and there will be 10-15 times more people entering Japan if Japan wants to open to tourism. Also, Nikkei, which usually has insight on the borders, backed up what I said in my previous video, saying that Japan waits welcoming foreign students as early as June, and that Golden Week's COVID numbers will be a determining factor. Again, I'm reporting news and rumor I hear from reliable sources, but at the same time, I don't want myself and also you to be too excited, because in June we could have only a small step when maybe many of us hope for a bigger one. Another news in this direction is that the government is considering to let a small group of foreign tourists with 3 doses of vaccine to enter the country as early as May, so this month. Those will be private groups, but the article also mentioned that if this experiment is successful, from June, further relaxations will come on place. June, and June. It seems something is cooking in the Japanese government, and we will know more details probably at the end of May, so in 3 or 4 weeks. I really hope it will be a good news for everyone waiting, and I can deliver some good news soon on this channel for tourism. Until then, please stay positive. Thank you very much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to know when the next update on the Japan travel border becomes available. Mata ne!